I've lived with health anxiety long enough to know how exhausting it can be. Every strange ache, flutter, or twinge becomes a possible catastrophe. I can't stop my body from producing those sensations, but what I've discovered is that I can reduce how often they happen. One of the biggest changes I've made, and one that continues to surprise me, is cutting back on sugar. At first, sugar seemed harmless, even comforting. A cookie after a stressful day or a soda when I needed a pick-me-up felt like small pleasures. But the truth is that sugar plays a major role in anxiety, especially for people like me who are already sensitive to bodily signals. Once I started reducing my sugar intake, I noticed that my body felt calmer, my sleep improved, and my anxiety didn't spike as often. When we eat something high in sugar, our blood sugar spikes quickly. The body responds by pumping out insulin to pull glucose into the cells. Sometimes this response overshoots and blood sugar falls rapidly. That sudden drop triggers adrenaline and cortisol, stress hormones that make your heart race, your palms sweat, and your thoughts scatter. For someone without health anxiety, those sensations might just feel like irritability. For me, they feel like danger signals. My mind jumps straight to heart problems or panic attacks. This roller coaster of spikes and crashes creates fertile ground for anxiety. It gives my body constant false alarms that my brain interprets as emergencies. By cutting sugar, I experience fewer of these blood sugar swings, and that means fewer panic-inducing sensations. Science backs this up. Studies have found that higher intakes of added sugar and refined carbohydrates are linked to greater risk of both anxiety and depression. Researchers believe this is partly because sugar promotes inflammation throughout the body. Chronic inflammation can disrupt neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which play key roles in mood regulation. With those systems out of balance, anxiety becomes harder to manage. Sugar also influences the gut-brain connection. The trillions of bacteria in the gut communicate constantly with the brain. A balanced microbiome is associated with calmer moods, while imbalance, often fueled by too much sugar, has been linked to higher anxiety. Excess sugar feeds harmful bacteria and yeast, crowding out beneficial species. That imbalance can ripple upward, affecting mood and mental clarity. I first noticed this connection with my sleep. Whenever I had something sweet late at night, I'd find myself tossing and turning, waking up sweaty, or jolting awake with my heart pounding. Poor sleep always makes my anxiety worse the next day. I become more sensitive, more reactive, and more likely to misinterpret normal bodily sensations as health threats. Once I started cutting sugar in the evenings, I slept more deeply and my mornings were calmer. Another long-term benefit of cutting sugar has been the reduction of health-related worries themselves. Sugar is strongly tied to weight gain, insulin resistance, and conditions like diabetes and heart disease. Just knowing that I was fueling those risks used to spark obsessive thoughts. By cutting back, I felt not only physically better, but also mentally lighter, because I knew I was lowering my long-term risks. That sense of control matters for health anxiety. The process of cutting sugar wasn't easy. At first, I tried to eliminate it completely, but cravings led to binges and guilt. Eventually, I realized gradual changes worked better. The first and most impactful change was cutting sugary drinks. Sodas, juices, and energy drinks were huge sources of sugar, and when I replaced them with water, sparkling water with lemon, or unsweetened tea, my afternoons stopped crashing so hard. Breakfast was another turning point. I used to start the day with cereal or pastries, which left me jittery by mid-morning. Switching to protein-rich options like eggs, Greek yogurt with nuts, or oatmeal with fruit gave me steady energy. I was calmer and less likely to spiral into anxious thoughts before lunchtime. I also learned that balance at meals makes a difference. Pairing carbs with protein, fiber, and healthy fats slows digestion and prevents sharp blood sugar swings. So if I wanted something sweet like fruit, I paired it with almonds or cheese. That way, I still got sweetness, but without the roller coaster crash. Over time, my taste buds changed. Foods I once considered normal started tasting overly sweet. A single square of dark chocolate felt indulgent, where before I needed half a candy bar. This shift made it easier to stick to my changes because I wasn't fighting constant cravings. Cutting sugar also gave me a psychological advantage. Before, every time my heart pounded after a sugary snack, I'd spiral into fear. What if this is serious? Now I can recognize it as a predictable reaction to sugar. That knowledge has diffused a lot of my health anxiety. Instead of feeding panic, it gives me perspective. That doesn't mean I avoid sugar entirely. Total restriction backfired on me. Instead, I allow planned treats, ice cream on Friday with my kids, or cake at a birthday. The difference is that I approach these moments intentionally, not mindlessly. I enjoy them, savor them, and move on. Sugar is no longer a daily constant, but a small indulgence I can control. Artificial sweeteners helped me bridge the gap when I first gave up soda, but I've since cut back on those too. Some studies suggest they might disrupt the gut microbiome or keep cravings alive. For me, the bigger goal was retraining my palate to prefer less sweetness overall, not just replacing sugar with substitutes. Tracking was another helpful tool. I kept a food and mood log for a few weeks, writing down what I ate and how I felt afterward. The patterns were clear. A mid-afternoon candy bar almost guaranteed an anxious, restless evening. Skipping a balanced breakfast left me edgy all morning. Seeing those connections on paper gave me confidence that my body wasn't mysterious. It was reacting logically to what I was feeding it. That insight alone eased a lot of fear. The biggest reward of reducing sugar has been calm. My body feels steadier, with fewer adrenaline surges and fewer heart-pounding surprises. My sleep is deeper, my mornings are smoother, and my mood is more balanced. Each of these outcomes reduces the number of anxiety triggers I face. With fewer false alarms, my brain has less fuel to spin into panic. Higher sugar intake is consistently linked to greater risks of anxiety and depression, while reducing sugar helps lower inflammation, stabilize blood sugar, and support healthier gut function. Each of these effects contributes to better mental health. For someone without health anxiety, the benefit might just be steadier energy. But for me, it means fewer triggers for obsessive thoughts and a calmer daily baseline. If you're dealing with health anxiety, reducing sugar isn't a cure-all, but it's a tool you can actually control. Start with small changes. Cut out sugary drinks, balance your meals, and pay attention to how you feel afterward. Keep a simple log for 2 weeks and notice the patterns. Chances are, you'll see the same connections I did. Instead of waiting for the next unexplained symptom, I can take action to reduce how often they appear in the first place. That reduction in bodily chaos has given me more mental space to use the other tools I've learned, like breathing exercises and therapy. It's one change that pays off daily, both for my health and my peace of mind.